Why not foul and let them shoot that three? But that's what we're going to break down right now on Playoff Central Live. Nabil Kareem alongside Udonis Haslam, Brendan Haywood. Complete post-game coverage coming up, and there is so much to talk about because late in that fourth quarter, you were ready to gloat. You picked Indiana pregame to win this one. Brendan wasn't going to show up. He did. I'm glad you did because the team you picked actually won the game, but I mean, we got to go over that play. There is so much to talk about, even prior to that,
yes,
because there was those two turnovers. But let's go to that shot first with Jaylen Brown and what happened, Brendan.
Well, when you watch that play, and we have to highlight the diagram right here. This is supposed to be a switch. So you should have McConnell going out there to Jaylen Brown. That situation, you want to switch every screen, and you want to make sure that you run your man inside the three-point line. Left too much separation. Brown gets the ball. Siakam ends up pulling back. But right here, when they come off this right here, Siakam should be sending him over the top. McConnell should be shooting out with Jaylen Brown, and you should have Pascal staying with Derek White. You don't care if somebody slips to the basket for two because you're up three with 8 seconds on the clock. Indiana, in this situation, I'm not sure if the coverage messed up or if the call was to fight through screens, but whatever it was, I don't think myself or Udonis thought that play was executed correctly from our experience.
Yeah, I got to agree with B. Haywood. You have to switch that. And as I'm looking at the coverage, I see T.J. McConnell steps back and he creates space so Pascal Siakam can get through. So I'm believing that play was to fight, get through, and not switch it, which I disagree with totally. And also getting there, when you switch that, you're allowed to run through the ball. And if you have to foul, you can foul on the catch, which takes him away from the free throw line. Takes him away from shooting three. Now he has to shoot two. So switching also allows you to foul and run through the ball where you can get the guy from shooting a three-pointer before he gets the shot up. So I switched that.
Yes.
But you can tell the way T.J. McConnell stepped back and opened up space for Pascal Siakam that they didn't call a switch in the huddle.
And it didn't seem like Pascal had his hands up either. I don't know if that was a product of him being so close and not wanting to foul, or I don't know what you think.
Well, Pascal was so close in that situation, he was trying to make sure that he didn't let what happened to the Oklahoma City Thunder, where you foul somebody in the corner and put him in the free throw line. He didn't want to let that happen. So as you watch the play, he kind of has his hand in there. When he sees Jaylen goes up, he pulls his hand back, and he's trying to pull his face back as well. Jaylen's elbow actually hits Pascal in the face. He's trying to pull back so he doesn't foul in the situation. Look, right here, he's a little off balance. He's closing out, trying to get him to run inside the three-point line. He's off balance, and that's why he looks so awkward right there, and he can't really challenge the shot, because if he would have tried to lean into that, he probably would have fouled him.
I mean, right here, once again, when T.J. McConnell steps back and opens up that space, Pascal Siakam's got to get on his horse. As soon as that ball touches Brown's hand, I'm wrapping him up. As soon as it touches his hand.
Yeah, I mean, these are things that have to be talked about. You could either switch everything in the screen and roll, you could foul on catch, but at the end of the day, what you can't let happen is what Boston just did. And let's not even talk about the two turnovers that led up to this.
Yes.
I mean, this was an absolute fumble job by the Pacers down the stretch.
If you're the Pacers, you're definitely kicking yourself. To be able to go on the road against the #1 seed and to be able to take game one and swing the momentum back to you, you got to take advantage of this opportunity. You're probably not going to get this opportunity in game two. It's going to be a different flow to the game. It's going to be a different rhythm. You got to win the games that you're supposed to win. And tonight, Indiana was supposed to win this game, but they didn't.
22 turnovers for Indiana, leading to 32 points for Boston. And it was crazy because Boston had that great start. Indiana has a run themselves, and in that third quarter, Boston takes over again. But Indiana, you talk about very resilient, right? They kept coming back. But again, those two turnovers really killed them late because they were in control at that point.
Yeah, I mean, and Indiana fought back, and Boston had their run. Next thing you know, Indiana took control of this game.
Yes.
And coming down the stretch, value the ball, run your stuff, get fouled, and close the game out at the free throw line, and that didn't happen. And even when you look at the stat sheet, Indiana shot better from the field, from three. They out-rebounded Boston, had more assists. Normally when you dominate the stat sheet in that fashion, you win. Indiana had more bench points, 7 players in double figures. This was Indiana's game.
Yes.
Everything was going in your favor, and then you were able to actually outplay Boston in the fourth quarter at home. You had so much momentum heading into game two. And then you have the turnover at half court by Halliburton. Then you have the turnover in the backcourt that led to the three-pointer in the corner.
Yes.
Those two back-to-back turnovers, you can't have that. If you want to go to the NBA Finals, you got to value the ball in those possessions.
You know, Boston coming into this game, 9 of their 10 games were double-digit wins. They haven't been in a lot of close games. Did they seem comfortable down that stretch there? Because they took some bad shots, it felt like, especially when Indiana went on those runs.
I mean, I don't know if they feel comfortable, but they should have lost that game. Let's just be honest. Boston should have lost that game. They should feel happy. They should feel thankful that they was able to get this game. Understanding that they've been there before, they've been through the pain, they've understanding how executing down the stretch can determine a win or a loss. I think that's what the edge they had tonight. The experience that they have, the locker room, the coaching, those different things like that. Those are the things that come into play because they've been there the last couple of years where this Indiana team has not been there. They'll learn from this, but once again, they won't get this game back, and I don't think they'll get this opportunity again.
Yeah, and I give, listen, as much as we're talking about Indiana leaving the door wide open, credit Boston for walking through it.
Yes.
Right.
Because down the stretch of that game, hey, there's a lot of times when guys are holding their head, they're down 3, they're thinking about what they're going to say in the press conference, how they're going to explain the loss. Jaylen Brown is pressuring Pascal Siakam, trying to get that steal that ends up falling out of bounds. Drew Holiday's defense on Halliburton that ends up with a turnover. Like, they did make those plays. Jaylen Brown making that 3 down 3 in the corner when everybody knew he had to take a 3. So, like, you come right here. Listen, you're up 3. Now, right now, you're coming down the court. Hey, man, the clock is your friend. What happens right here? I do not know. In that situation, if you don't even get a shot up, if you just run the clock all the way down and just throw it up in the air, it's better than that. And then right here, this was key. Because now you're up with 8.5.
Yes.
If you just get that ball in bounds, now it's a free throw game.
Yes.
You hit 1 free throw and it's over.
Yes.
And you have a team full of good free throw shooters. So those 2 turnovers combined with the lack of execution on this defensive play right here, and the next thing you know, 3-ball, corner pocket, Jaylen Brown, big-time shot. That was it. Those 3 possessions, that was the ball game. Indiana did what they supposed to do. They walked into the Garden, game 1, controlled the 4th quarter, did what they had to do, outplayed the Celtics, and then 3 possessions totally changed the outcome of this game.
Jaylen Brown finishing with 26 points in this game. Jason Tatum finishing with 36. And it was those 2 guys. I mean, a lot of pressure. We talked about this pregame on those 2 guys. But down the stretch with Brown hitting that shot, some of the defensive plays he made in this game and late, and then Tatum in overtime hitting some big shots.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to give Jason Tatum his flowers. Didn't have a great shooting game from the 3-point line, but hit the one that count down the stretch, the one that put him over the hump. And also, he's plus 20 tonight. When you talk about a game where he's not necessarily shooting the ball well from the 3-point line, he still found a way to make winning plays. He rebounded the ball well. He had a double-double tonight. So he did the things that he needed to do to win and play winning basketball tonight. It's not always about scoring. Sometimes it's about timely scoring. Once again, he didn't shoot the ball well from 3, but the one that he needed to hit down the stretch when he was 1 for 7, when I think there was a miscommunication on that coverage because he should not have been that wide open at the top of the key. That also could have possibly been a switch when you got those 2 guys on the ball. Those shots, shoot that with confidence. He made the shot, but until then, he was playing winning basketball all night.
All right, so Boston takes the 1-0 series lead. A tough one for Indiana. Let's hear from Rick Carlisle.
Well, I love the way our guys fought in this game.
Trying to get free. Throw it in the corner. Brown fakes, fires up the 3. Bang! Bang! Jaylen Brown knocks down the 3 to tie the game. Pacers with a chance.